We have lost Pope Francis.
Well,
all right?
They know where he is. He's buried just down the block from the Vatican.
He is no longer
the Pope
of this world.
El Papa. Yeah, he's in a better place.
He is no longer of this world. Now, Francis, his name before being Pope Francis, wasn't it Francis? Or was it something different?
Pope Francis? What
was it? What was his real name? I thought it was something similar to that. But this Pope is Robert Francis.
Robert Francis.
But he took on the name Leo.
Correct.
So I don't know how these popes are. I mean, do they get to name themselves?
Yes.
It's like giving yourself a nickname in middle school?
Yes, they pick the name for their pontificate.
So
for their what?
So Francis,
their reign.
Their pontificate.
Yeah. So, all right, here. So
I had to fix my glasses. All right. What was Francis's name?
All right. So Francis's name was Jorge Mario Bergoglio.
His name was George?
Yeah.
Jorge.
Well, George?
Jorge.
George with a J.
Kyla.
Yeah. George.
Hey. Bueller? What?
All right. So, but this guy's name is actually Francis.
Middle name.
Yeah. Robert Francis.
Correct.
So he couldn't be Pope Bob?
It's Father Bob. He could have been. He could have been anything he wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he got into a long line of Leos.
Okay. So a long line of Leos.
Yeah,
there were 14 Leos.
13 before him.
Yeah, he it's Robert Francis Prevost.
Okay. Here's my question, and you guys might be able to help me with that one. I didn't know who got to pick. If the Cardinals said, okay, here's where we need to be with this and that. It said he was an Augustinian cardinal.
Correct.
What does that mean?
He's the head of the St. Augustine branch of the Catholic Church. You've got, Dominicans, you've got Jesuits, you've got Augustinians.
Okay.
And he became the head of that Augustinian branch of the church.
Yeah.
Is he the first Augustinian
Pope? I do not know.
Okay. Because, I mean, as soon as I saw that, obviously, I'm thinking, oh, St. Augustine,
right.
I mean, do our guys here know this cat?
Probably. Well,
so actually turns out Pope Leo is the first Augustinian friar to ever be selected to lead the Catholic Church.
He's the first Augustinian friar. All right.
So St. Augustine represent.
Yeah. So I mean, we got some roots in high places now. So I guess we need to start marketing the basilica here a little bit harder.
There you go. Well, maybe he'll show up here.
I'm sure he will get blamed for it anyway. So
yeah. Hey, but hey, there's always a spot for him to come on the evening show.
There you go. Bring him in.
Whiskey.
Yeah, we'll get
Father Bob, because the raging question is: are you a Cubs fan or a White Sox fan? And the heavy money's on him being a Cubs fan, but it hasn't been confirmed yet.
Yeah. So no, he's got to be a Cubs fan.
I would like to believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely hope so as well, man.
Just booked our trip to Chicago, where we will see the Mets play the Cubs in the friendly confines of Wrigley Field.
Oh, it's such an awesome place to go watch a game.
It's great, and they redid the whole thing. It's beautiful. They redid all the entryways and stuff.
Yeah. Although though, it's probably best to go to a nighttime game because
I almost died
at Wrigley Field.
At Wrigley Field, I sat in the sun and 2 days in a row. I got sunburned on day one, and then I got overheated on day two, and I had to spend like 3 innings in the concourse because I was just I was melting. Yeah. My pale Anglo-Saxon really came out.
Okay.
And it was uncomfortable for me day two. So, I was praying for a night game. I can tell you that.
I almost got beat up in Wrigley Field because went to a game where the Mets were playing the Cubs, and we were sitting on the bleachers, and I was wearing my Mets hat, and some of the Cubs fans weren't happy that the Mets were winning. Fortunately, my friend who I was with is 6 foot and change and was a crew rower, so he's got very broad shoulders, so he dissuaded any altercations.
Gotcha.
But I was there for the first World Series game under the lights at Wrigley Field when they did the World Series game. I'm sorry, the All-Star game. All-Star game at Wrigley Field. They did it the year after they put lights in there. And I was there with my friend Ira, and it was fabulous.
Okay.
Yeah, it was great. Whole big weekend of events. Yep.
Ira, he doesn't sound like an Augustinian friar.
No. Okay. No, he's not.
Okay.
No.
I don't think there's a lot of Iras.
He's in a different tribe.
I don't think we're going to see a Pope Ira anytime soon.
Well, I don't know. They can pick their own name.
They can pick their own name.
Pick their own name.
Yeah, they can.
So that leads into what type of pontificate they want to have. So Leo was Leo the 13th was a very I don't know if he was overly liberal, but he was certainly somebody who moved the church in a little bit of a different direction. So when you choose your name as Pope, apparently there's some intimation of how you're going to lead your pontificate and the direction you're going to go in. So he didn't pick somebody who was austere. He went, he's a Padres fan. I don't think he's a Padres fan.
No, I don't think so about that.
Come on, Bobby. Nice try.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Right. But he's an interesting fellow. And it's funny, too, because he spoke in Italian and Spanish when he introduced himself to the crowd, starting with, let there be peace, or may we all live in peace, which was great. He didn't speak in English at this juncture, it's also good. Because the Italians needed a bone, man. They were hoping for an Italian.
Well, he also has Peruvian
dual citizenship.
Yeah.
He's dual citizenship.
All right, but Francis was our topic, and
but we digress.
And we went because I actually had a couple of things, and I kind of merged them together because we were going to switch over to our drunk history stuff. So Pope Francis, what was some of the things that made him so likable? Because I don't know. I mean, you and I have probably been alive for 6 popes,
give or take.
Probably
there are a couple of real short ones in there. There was one that only made it a couple days.
Well, Pope John, John Paul the First, only lasted 33 days.
Right.
Then John Paul II, which he took the same name immediately following that, was from Poland. And he was there for like 20 years. Yep. I think he was the second longest pope of all time.
Leo the 13th or 14th has some potential because he's only 69.
Yeah, he's definitely got some time. Benedict and Francis, and then prior to that, because I think Pope John the First, John Paul the First, there was one that was in my lifetime, and I think you might have one ahead of me, because I think
I'm trying to remember if I was around for John the 23rd or if there was a Pius in there when I was a kid.
I think it was a Pius.
Yeah, there definitely was a Pius. I think
I was born during a Pius.
Okay.
So,
but what made Francis so likable is his humility. He was pastoral. He wanted to work with the people. He was a parish priest. He was pastoral. He went for the poor, the indigent, the downtrodden, the less visible people in his flock. And, he was very big on that. So that immediately made him very likable for a lot of people. He was an egalitarian. He was an elitist by any stretch of imagination.
I love the fact that he chose not to live in
the Papal apartments.
The apartments.
Yeah.
And he chose to live in a very humble apartments. And
he was a
I
good
think
guy.
the thing that made me like him the best is he didn't wear the funky shoes.
The little red slippers that curled up at the toe?
Yeah, I mean, they tap and they go home. I mean, or is that something else? That's something.
Yeah, that's different. That's different shoes.
Is that a different story?
Those are ruby. They're not crimson or scarlet.
That's a different.
Yeah, that's something else.
The interesting thing is, and we don't know because I believe there's a big marble or granite slab over his coffin in his grave now, which is really pissing people off because the spacing on the letters of Francis, which is all it says on top of it, is weird spacing, and people are getting triggered by that for some reason.
Really?
I don't know. Yeah,
they're so sensitive.
Yeah.
You know what? You know what they'd say? They should say, "Lighten up, Francis." They just need to lean into it.
So wait a second. Is this Pope Psycho?
Yeah.
All right. No, I don't think so. No, he was too good for that.
Call me Francis.
Right,
Okay.
exactly.
All right. So what year were you born again?
1958.
Oh, what month?
February.
Okay, so you just got pious.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then you had
I'm working on being pious. Believe me.
Yep. Then you had John 23rd as well.
He was a big mover and shaker.
But then my dad got to St. Paul IV.
St. Paul.
Yep.
It's interesting though because
St. Paul came in like 63 or something, right?
Yeah, St. Paul came in 63.
He was there for a while. He was there for like 15 years, I think.
Yeah, so Lenny actually had 2 behind you.
Okay.
But just barely.
All right.
See, but I don't know if he's going to be buried with his red shoes, because if you go to the Vatican, there's a couple of like glass tops where you can see into where some of the popes are buried. And first of all, these are tiny little guys. I don't know if they've shrunk with time or they just started out tiny. And a lot of them are wearing their red shoes.
Yeah. No. I mean, they
fascinating.
and they have, when they move to sainthood, they get moved to a more prevalent place there in the basilica.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd love to go play in the catacombs down there.
Yeah.
Or just get into the Vatican Library, man. They got some stuff there that is gonna be fascinating.